What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we are mainly going to talk about our CPI, our inflation. Okay, what we are seeing, what's happening, what is potentially going to happen in the future. So I want to address not only what the report said today, which is huge, but also what experts are predicting moving forward. All right? And at the end of today's video, we're also going to talk about President Biden's plan to help lower food prices, because he is going to come out today. He's going to give a speech, I believe, in Illinois, and talk about what we can do to help farmers. And by helping farmers, that would eventually help the end consumer, which is us. So we'll see what happens there. Let's get right down to the report. First off, month over month, we saw an increase of 0.3%. Now, this means our top headline number is 8.3% year over year. That is our current inflation rate. The problem with this was we were expecting 8.1%, so we missed. We were a little too high. But all items, less food and energy, rose by 0.6%. It was 0.3% last month. So what you need to keep in mind is that food and energy, okay, those are starting to come down. And I know you're thinking, how is energy coming down? Prices are still very high. Well, here's some of the big changes. Energy dropped by 2.7%, which is interesting because gasoline, the average gallon of gas here in the United States, 1 month ago was $4.11. That was a month ago. Today, it's $4.40, which is interesting because energy prices dropped. But again, this is what we're seeing. We also know eggs, they jumped by 10.3% month over month. Men's and women's apparel were down 1.4 and 1.6% month over month. Smartphones went down by 4.3%. Housing rose by 0.5%. Hotels jumped by 3.4% month over month. But the big deal is air travel. Air travel is what's causing more inflation. Public transportation rose by 14.4% month over month, and airline fares jumped by 21.9% in a single month. Now, here's what's happening. Consumers are moving away from the actual products, from goods. They're moving away from goods to services. That's what we're seeing, and that's fine. If we move away from goods into services, that's okay. Now, what you need to keep in mind, though, is if we continue to keep spending, that's where it becomes a problem. Now, based on what the reports are saying, though, if it weren't for this jump in the airline fares, CPI would have come in at 8.1%, which is what we were expecting. That's good. Now, the good thing about airline fares rising as much as they did is that they went up due to demand in travel. But guess what? We know it's due to demand in travel. This happens every single year towards the middle to end of spring, all the way through summer. Travel demand is high. It's very high. So obviously, gas prices go up, and we see this every single year. We see more people travel. We see hotels, they're doing very well in the spring and in the summer. It's normal. But airline fares also went up due to fuel prices. Okay? We know gas prices go up, and they do almost every single year. They go up right around the spring, pretty much all the way through summer. Gas prices go up. But we need to fuel the airplanes. The other issue is we still have that war going on between Russia and Ukraine. We have demand all across the world for more fuel, which means here in the US we have to compete with others. Again, causes gas prices to go up. But that war between Russia and Ukraine is not going to go on forever. That's where experts say that's a good thing. Eventually, Russia is going to have to pull out. We know they're going to have to pull out, or Ukraine is just going to lose the battle. But eventually, it's going to be resolved. That's one of the good things, is this isn't something that's going to go on forever and ever. But experts do say that more fuel would lower the price of airfare. Yeah, if we had more fuel in this world, yeah, it would lower the price. And once the summer travel rush is over, prices are expected to fall. Every year around the exact same time, we get more demand for travel, so the expectation is that we will always see these increases. That's what we saw. Now, if we just look at core inflation, last month it was up 1.2%. And that was likely the peak, according to experts. So, this month, it still came in at 0.6%, which annualizes 7.2%. This is still too hot for our economy. However, 7.2% is better than the 8.3% where we're currently sitting. So, what we are hearing today is that this is good news. What we are seeing, where we're seeing these spikes in numbers, this is normal. So, what you can expect moving forward, number one, we could have peaked at 8.5%. That could have been our peak inflation, which would be great, which means it's coming back down. Okay? So today is a pretty big day. And what many are already saying is that we've likely just confirmed that we are in a recession. Based on the report and what it said today, we are likely in a recession. Based on what was being said and how the consumers are feeling after this, we are likely in a recession. The other big report that's coming out, it actually comes out tomorrow, is the Ppi Report. The expectation is that it's going to be at 0.5%. This is actually down from 1.4% from last month. And core inflation is supposed to be at 0.6%. However, if we see a miss to the upside, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt. The stock market is already feeling the impacts of what has happened. Okay? So crypto is, completely selling off. So again, people are panicking. But again, this is good news for the future. Right now, it's pain. This is painful, what we're seeing. But again, inflation is moving. It's moving in the right direction, but the only problem is, how long is it going to take to finally bring it down? The Federal Reserve has taken a 75 basis point rate hike off the table, which means they're going to go to 50, for next month and the month after, which is going to help. But the expectation is inflation is going to remain right around that 7.5 to 8.5%. It's just going to stay stable, and it's going to almost plateau. And if it plateaus, that's where the Federal Reserve can come out, pretty much do a rug pull, and do a 75 or 100 point basis point rate hike. That would hurt. That would hurt the market. That would cause the economy to definitely go into a recession. And who knows how long we would be there. All right? So that's what's going on with inflation and the CPI report that came out today. Tomorrow I will touch on the Ppi report as well. I think that's very important. But just understand, moving forward, there is a lot of things that are going to happen. A lot of things. And some of these things that are going to happen are not going to be great. Now, here's something that is happening today. Later on today, President Biden will be visiting a family farm in Illinois. He's going to address what his administration is going to do to help lower the cost to farmers. Now, the reason why he wants to lower the cost to farmers, and he's already done some of this before, and providing additional funding, because if farmers see that, okay, they are being taken care of, they don't have to worry about rising prices, they don't have to worry about parts to their equipment that they just cannot get. If they're being taken care of and looked after, that means that the American people will be getting more food. And if we get more food, that means the prices are probably going to drop. That's good. Well, so that's going to happen today. But here's what the White House had to say yesterday. The White House said, and I quote, "Putin's unjustified invasion of Ukraine has cut off a critical source of wheat, corn, barley, oilseeds, and cooking oil. It has also disrupted global supply chains for fertilizer, which farmers depend on to maximize yields. And that's 100% true. If you do not fertilize your crops, I believe you reduce your margins, I believe by like 25 or 35%. So it's a pretty substantial amount. So yes, to maximize your yields, you have to fertilize. And some farmers are actually cutting their fertilizer in half, only fertilizing using half of the amount of fertilizer for the entire farm, and hoping it won't be such a big deal. But again, it is, and this is what's causing a little bit of a food shortage. Again, I've been talking about food shortages for the past month. They're not going to end. They're going to continue, and we could actually see them compound. So we will see what the plan is after today. As of right now, there's not a lot of discussions or a lot of reports as to what President Biden is going to do, but something must happen as food prices have increased by nearly 13% just around the world. And so things are getting a little bit out of control. They're getting much more expensive. So the American people are hurting. But the good news with all the stuff that we talked about today is finally CPI and our inflation rate is coming down. That's the good thing. Okay? I know if you're looking at your stock portfolio, you're looking at real estate, you're looking at crypto, everything's looking bad. But the good news is at least CPI is coming down, which means that hopefully things will be better in 3 to 6 months. My guess is probably 6 months. So again, that's what we know at this time. As always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. But if you could and you enjoyed today's video, go ahead, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.